Alright, Sam here. Tonight we're going to be going over discussion 5, meaning, and prompt 3, happiness versus meaning. Uh, the question proposes that Christine Vitrano claims that Richard Taylor does not properly distinguish between happiness and meaning. Are these two different things? And if they are, does recognizing this help us to sort out what does and does not contribute to meaning in life? They are, in fact, two different things to me, in my personal view. Um, they're, mm, I actually believe in both subjective and objective value and meaning. So I believe that subjectively, there is no real difference between meaning and happiness, not much, anyways, because the meaning of life is, to me, is to try to be happy and to try to make those around me happy, and as much as I can, spread positivity, as it were. Um, but objectively, there's plenty of things that one could call meaningless activities. Playing certain video games pointlessly could be considered a meaningless activity if you're overtly indulgent in it. So there is that. Um, it would start to take away from meaningfulness. Now, doing these indulgent activities has an objectively meaningful purpose in its own right, because when you perform indulgent activities, you are doing forms of self recovery. And when I say indulgent activities, I don't mean like necessarily drugs or alcohol or whatever. Playing certain games are indulgent activities. Um, Going and laying down by the pool is an indulgent activity. Working out can be an indulgent activity, but there's still pretty objectively positive value in it. Uh, that does come down to, like, you stay healthy so then you can better assist other people later. So there is that. So yeah, I believe that happiness is separate from meaningfulness, like they're two different things, but they walk very closely hand in hand. And when they walk closely hand in hand, I believe you get the best out of someone experiencing that, right? When they're very happy with a something that seems to be objectively meaningful. So, like, for instance, if we agreed that charity was a meaningful thing and someone committed their life to doing things for charity, that's great for them. They're objectively doing something good in this particular fashion, as long as they were being as honest as you could about it and all that good stuff and following good ethics. Um, sure, and now if they went off and did some self-indulgent activities in order to be able to recover and relax a little, because even when you're doing something meaningful that does bring you happiness, it can be very stressful. So when they go back to take that self-indulgence do those self-indulgent things, it's so they can come back to those highly meaningful activities. Then there is good meaning behind the indulgent activity that could, you know, now if those indulgent activities, force you to stagnate and stop you from being the force of good you want to be, then yeah, that's when that kind of stalls out into what I would consider meaningless happiness. But that's just kind of like my opinion on the subject.